Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time for my yearly roundup, my best and worst makeup of 2019. So I have a ton of stuff in front of me. Honestly, it was really hard for me to compile these products this year. Some of these did come out before 2019 and some of them did come out in 2019, but these are all products that I have fallen so hard for that I would repurchase them if anything happened to them or I run out of them. They are some of my top favorite products. So I can't believe the year is over, but honestly, I didn't have like the best year of my life, so I'm really excited to see what 2020 brings. But if you guys want to see the best makeup and the worst makeup that I tried this year, then just keep on watching. You guys and I have very similar tastes with a lot of products. I mean, it only makes sense that you found me because we have similar interests, but I did a little poll over on my Instagram and I asked you guys to let me know what your worst products were and best products were of the year, and so many of them actually aligned with some products that I tried too. So this is one of them. This was only on your best. I did not hear anybody talk about this being one of their worst products. So this is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. This was my first time ever using a gripping primer and I just fell for it. I got roped into trying this primer because every influencer and their mother were doing sponsorships. I think Milk took some influencers out to the desert and honestly, I just felt like I wasn't included and I just bought this for myself because I needed to know what the hype was all about and I ended up falling in love with it. Now, I'm honestly surprised that I haven't used more of this. It does kind of twist up by itself, the component does, as you work through it. I'm not even halfway through this primer yet, but I cannot even explain to you how much I like this. I do have dry skin, so that's something to note, like while you're watching my videos. For the most part, I am very dry, and this is supposed to be hydrating, and I do think it is hydrating, but it's such a different feeling that you might not be used to it if you try it for the first time, because it's a gel and you put it on and your face does get kind of sticky. It says that you're supposed to wait a minute before you put your foundation on, and I feel like if you don't wait, you're going to have issues with this. So I like it because it really creates a nice tacky base for my foundation to stick to, and I feel like it gives me a nice even base as well. I was not disappointed at all with this purchase, and I keep going back to this. I'm wearing it under my foundation today, and it's definitely a notable primer of 2019, and I do recommend it if you guys haven't tried it already. So it's kind of funny, I can kind of tell you guys where I got the idea to buy some of these products from, like the Milk Makeup with all the influencers, and this next product definitely Samantha Ravindal and Raw Beauty Christie. So this product in the past was in a disappointing products video because I just couldn't figure out how to use it and how I would like it for my skin. But then I just started giving it more chances, and sometimes that's what you have to do. The more times I tried this, the more I fell in love with it, and this year it became a staple in my foundation routine. So this is the Hollywood Flawless Filter for a Superstar Youth Glow from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Light 2. Now, if you guys watch Sam and Christy, you've probably heard of this a million times already, and I can't even explain to you, like, this product for no makeup days gives your face like such a beautiful youthful glow, but also if I use it over a foundation as like a cream highlight, it does the same effect, just not as much. So I really like this for my no makeup days. Like if I'm wearing concealer, I will put my concealer on my spots where I need it and underneath my eyes, and then I will hit the cheekbones and my forehead with this product, and I just have such a pretty glow all over my skin. I'm just gonna see if you guys are able to tell the difference. Here's my hand with nothing on it, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on here. This is not blended out. You can see it's just such a subtle glow, and then I'm gonna blend it in. So there, I think you guys can see it's just like a lit from within effect. But I just have to say, this is one of my all-time favorite complexion products that I've ever tried. So there were a few foundations that I liked this year, and I will say an honorable mention is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. I did really enjoy that in the summer. It's a very high coverage foundation, but I moved off of it towards the drier months. My skin gets very dry in the fall and winter, and I needed something that wasn't so, I don't want to say cakey, but just wasn't wasn't so full coverage that I couldn't work with my own like dewy products with it. So I finally found a foundation that plays well with my products that I like to use, like the Charlotte Tilbury and my concealers. And this is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation. So I love this foundation. This is in the shade 30WY. It's the darkest that I have. I have a couple shades because sometimes I do self-tan and sometimes I don't. But this is just the all-time finish on my skin. It's not too cakey. It's not too dewy. It's right in the middle somewhere. It creates kind of like a satin natural finish, I would call it. It can be full coverage, but if you just use it lightly, then you're getting a nice kind of medium natural coverage. And again, I'm dry, but this works well for me. It doesn't dry me out. I like it a lot better than the all-nighter foundation. That's a little too harsh for my dry skin, but it still is able to give me that flawless finish. And also it lasts forever on me. I don't know what the deal is, but this is like one of those trusted foundations if I know I'm going to be out of the house for a very long time, because it literally doesn't move once it's on. So I absolutely loved this. It was my favorite foundation of 2019 for sure. So I actually don't have a notable concealer. I was looking over my concealers and honestly, so many of them I do enjoy, but none of them I really discovered in the year of 2019. We have the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer. We've got the Jouer High Essential High Coverage. Yeah, Essential High Coverage Concealer. I love both of those. The Born This Way Too Faced Sculpting Concealer. I love that. Honestly, I love so many concealers that I try that I just can't pinpoint one amazing concealer, so I'm not even gonna try. I have a couple notable highlighters of the year, one being a affordable $5 highlighter. This is from Wet n Wild. So the Wet n Wild highlighters have been some of my personal favorite in the drugstore, but they came out with this beautiful shade Blossom Glow. And this is so nice for when I am fair, at my fairest in the winter. It's such a beautiful light, icy, like pinkish champagne color. There it is on my middle finger, and there it is on the back of my hand. So currently I'm a little too tan for this guy, but when I am at my fairest, this is such a beautiful go-to highlighter. I love their other shades as well, but this is one of the ones that really stood out to me this year. And then this guy has moved his way up to being my all-time favorite highlighter. So this is from Artist Couture. This is in the old packaging. I just bought a backup if you guys watched my latest PR haul and Black Friday haul. I did pick up a backup of this because I've gone almost all the way through this, and that's really hard to do with a loose highlighter, so that should alone say something. Did I even say the name? This is in the shade Yas, but I want to say 90% of my videos I'm wearing this highlighter. I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing it every day. Honestly, it's my favorite highlighter of all time. If you see a like popping highlight on my face, it's usually this one. I would like to get back into like trying more highlighters and like dipping into my collection a little bit, but honestly, because of this highlighter, I've been neglecting all of my other ones. So there's a little swatch. I don't know if you guys can see. I couldn't pick up a lot of this. I need every formulation of this. I need a liquid of this. I need everything of Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder in the shade Yas. Literally everything. Next up, I want to talk about my favorite setting powder of 2019, and that would be the Huda Beauty baking powder in the shade Pound Cake. Now, I don't have a lot of description words for setting powder. I don't know why. I'm not the best at describing them, but this one for me was where it was at in 2019. This is the one I went back to consistently. When you open this up, it has a little kind of basket. I don't know what to call it. Like just a little mesh, little trampoline of powder in there. So it's a really nice way to pick up powder because you are able to kind of get the whole brush coated without making too much of a mess. And also the shade Pound Cake just worked really well for me as a brightening and also just all over the face setting powder. For me with a setting powder, basically I just base the success off of how powder blends over top, and whenever I wear this, powder products like contour, blush, and highlight blend perfectly over top. So I loved this year. I'm going to continue to repeat myself in this video because those products have already been in my favorites for November, and this has as well, but this has definitely made it into the entire year as well. So this is the Studio Fix Sculpt and Shape Contour Palette from MAC. I don't want to talk too long about this because I swear I talk about it all the time. Basically, I don't use this for the brightening shades. I use it for the contour shades, and these three shades alone along the bottom here, either mixed together or used separately, work really well at actually contouring for me. Not so much bronzing, but adding that shadow to the natural contours of my face and really giving a realistic contour. That's what this palette does for me. It blends beautifully. I don't have too much muddiness with this. It's just a go-to contour for me. So this has definitely been a favorite all year long. Now let's talk about brows. So I'm always changing my brow routine because I love working with different brands like Benefit and Anastasia and Milk Makeup. I just love trying all of the different brow products because essentially I have natural hairy brows, and anything that makes them look a little bit more sharper and clean, and any kind of brow wax thing, like any brow gel, anything to hold them in place, I usually like it. It's either a like or a hate. But recently this year I have kind of switched to an all Anastasia brow routine. So I have been going for the dip brow in the shade dark brown. Mine definitely needs to be replaced. It's getting to the point where it's a little bit dry. You can see that I used the shit out of this year for sure. Now when I use dip brow, I get a nice sharp clean dramatic brow. It's not so much everyday brow, but like a glam brow. And then for my everyday brow, I've been using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade dark brown. This I can kind of just feather through my brows and fill in any areas that might have a gap, and I can just go in with a brow gel after, and that will be my everyday brow, if that makes sense. The Anastasia Clear Brow Gel works really well for me as well, so I've added this into my routine. It keeps them in place, but it doesn't make them feel overly crispy, which I absolutely hate. Now, there are some more brow products that I have been testing, but not for long, but these are the tried and true, like never fail brow products of the year for me. Now this next product is an eyeliner. It's been my go-to eyeliner for any cat eye wing liner this year. So I always go back to this, and I guess it's a little controversial because some people hate it, and I've noticed that it's popped up in people's worst product videos, and every time I see that I'm like, wow, really? Like it works really well for me, and it's very easy to use. But this is the Benefit roller liner, and I'm sure you guys are not surprised. I use this in almost all of my tutorials that have winged liner. Of course, I like other liner, but this is definitely the one that I reach for on a daily basis. I'm wearing this today as well. It's very effortless. It is a felt tip, so I guess if you don't like felt tip liners, you might not like this, but it's very pointy and skinny. It takes a long time for this to run out, and it's very, very matte black, which I love. Even if I'm wearing another liner, like the Anastasia one, for example, I discovered that one this year. It's a little harder to use, but I do really like it. But even if I'm using something else, I will go back in with this over my lash band of my false lashes, and this is so easy to like cover up the lash band and just it's a very easy eyeliner. All right, so I have a few more products, and then we're gonna get into eyeshadow palettes because I mainly review eyeshadow palettes on this channel. It's very hard for me to pick out my favorites, so I do have a few. But before that, I wanna talk about lips. So my all-time favorite lip liner, discovered in 2019 and used consistently in 2019, is the Laura Mercier lip pencil in the shade Rosewood. Now I wear this every day, every single day without fail. It's my favorite nude lip liner. It gives me a lot of control. It's sharpenable, so you can sharpen this when you need to sharpen it. It's creamy. It doesn't hurt my lips, but it's also firm enough to where I can get a nice line. There it is swatched. I'm also wearing it today, but that is Rosewood, and it's probably the only notable liner that I've ever like brought up in one of these videos. Actually, that's a lie. There's a Maybelline one that I really used to love, but I've moved on to this one, and it's just so perfect for my skin tone. If you guys are anywhere near my skin tone and you're looking for a really good lip liner, then definitely check out Rosewood. And then this product I also discovered this year, and I was skeptical at first. I just kind of threw it on, and then later in my day I realized it was still on, and it was a regular lipstick. I was so confused. But this is the NYX Lingerie Push Up Long Lasting Lipstick, and I just looked over the long lasting part. I thought it was just going to be like any crayon lipstick, but once you put this on, guys, like it's not going anywhere for a long time. So my favorite is in the shade Lace Detail, but that's in my purse, and my purse is so far away from me downstairs right now. So I picked up another shade. This one is in the shade Corset. That's what it looks like. It's very easy to use. If you're looking to try something new, then I definitely recommend it, especially if you want something that's not a liquid lipstick, but it still lasts forever. This is such an amazing product, and I'm so glad that I discovered it. And I kind of discovered it on accident, honestly. I wasn't giving it a fair shot not at all. Okay, so always in preparation for these videos, I kind of stalk my own Instagram to see what I've used regularly and what I've gone back to over and over again. And something that I kind of looked over and didn't realize that I used all year long was the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palettes and Neon Obsessions palettes. So these came out this year and I just use them all the time over on my Instagram, and I really loved them. They're very easy to use. They're very blendable. I absolutely loved every single one of these that I tried, and I loved creating different looks with the neons and also dipping into the nudes. I feel like they are very trusted products. The formula is very consistent, and I like that they're nice and compact. My top favorites are the Nude Medium Obsessions palette, which is this one, and then also this one for summer was so amazing. This is the Neon Obsessions in orange. I accidentally missed a blush, a face product. This was very well loved. Like, all the ripples from this product are gone. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Blush in the shade Vintage Rouge. I've talked about this a million times over here. It was so amazing. It still is. I use it all the time. It smells so good. It smells like summer. It's such a beautiful blendable blush, and it's very like neutral but a little bit warm on my skin tone, and it's absolutely perfect for me. I am currently using a bit of a darker shade for my self-tan, but regularly this is my absolute go-to blush, and I can't believe I forgot to talk about it because this is like one of the top, again, complexion products that I use this year. So quickly, I want to mention this Tarte palette. This has been on the market for a while now. It's definitely not new to 2019, but it was new to me this year. This is the Tarteist Pro palette. I absolutely love this for my go-to brown smoky eye with the shade Edgy and Bold. I really like the mattes in this palette. They're very buttery, very easy to work with, and I think there's a ton of looks for neutral lovers, of course, in this palette, and I absolutely loved it. Number one reason why I always end up in a bralette while I'm filming is because it gets so hot in here. Like, this thing is about to go. But this palette also stole my heart this year. This is the Jackie Aina Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. Now, Anastasia did a lot this year, and honestly, it was very overwhelming, but of course, I had to have it all, and I had to review it all. I did review this palette. I also pulled it back out for a holiday look, which I promised you guys, but I love the shade Pinker in here, and that's on my lid right now, and it's one of my go-to looks. Like, if I'm gonna have a signature look, it's either gonna be my dark brown or my dark maroon, because it just brings out the color of my eyes. So this palette was just stunning, and I love that it gave me one of my signature looks for the year. It was really hard to pick, of course, out of all the eyeshadow palettes, but I just feel like this one was really beautifully put together. Didn't get enough credit, really. There's a ton of looks that can be done with this one. And then I wanted to mention this ColourPop palette. This is the ColourPop Truly Madly Deeply palette. I also did a video on this one. Now, again, this is a more affordable palette, so I love that, but it's also just such a beautiful neutral palette. So I mentioned in my review that it kind of reminded me of bridal vibes. Like, it's just very soft, romantic, kind of pinky, shimmery, just beautiful shades in here. And it's hard when I review so many palettes to really dip in consistently to the same palette over and over again, but I did with this palette, so I wanted to mention it because in my daily go-to life, it's one of the palettes that I actually reached for. So sometimes I forget favorites in this video, and if I did, I will leave any honorable mentions down there with the rest of the products that I mentioned in this video, but it is time to talk about a couple disappointing products. Thankfully, I did not have a lot this year. One product that really disappointed me was the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Melted Shadows. Now, I did a whole video on this, and I really wanted to like them because the concept is really nice. I saw people using them on Instagram. It looked really cool. But unfortunately, the metal side of these eyeshadows is very tricky to work with. At least it was for me. I could not even get a clean eyeliner with it. It wanted to flake off. It wouldn't blend. It's very unfortunate because I really enjoyed the matte side. The matte side makes a really good eyeshadow base. So if you did buy it and you kind of got stuck with it, then definitely try out the matte side if you don't like the metal side, because then you're like me. But these just didn't do it for me. I just don't think they're worth it, and unfortunately they made it into my worst products of 2019 because I just couldn't make it work. The next worst product I don't have with me because I tossed them pretty soon after getting them, and they were the MAC Boom Boom Bloom highlighters. And realistically, they weren't highlighters. They were like an overspray, and then underneath was like a dry, like setting powder. It was super weird. I know you guys probably know what I'm talking about. One of them was like a shimmery gold, and then once the gold was gone, it was like a matte contour shade. And then the other one was a shimmery pink, and once the pink was gone, it was like what you would call a brightening powder, but it definitely was not marketed correctly, and they were called highlighters. They were not highlighters ever. And then unfortunately, the two last products that were my worst makeup products of the year kind of aren't makeup, but they are from makeup brands, if you will. And I went through a phase. I go through it every summer. I love reviewing and trying body products because I love to have like body shimmer on me or body oil on me. I really enjoy it. But I had two fails in that category this year. One being the Soul Body Shimmering Dry Oil. This is definitely a powder within a dry oil. So eventually all this powder moves to the bottom and gets kind of caked up, and then when you spray this product out, it is saturated in powder highlighter, so you can't blend it out on your skin. Very, very messy situation, and there's no SPF in here, so essentially it's a little bit of a dangerous product to use anyways. And then we had, which broke my heart, the Anastasia Shimmer Body Oil, which was so beautiful smelling, but breaks me out like crazy. It's got some really kind of clogging ingredients in it, and it definitely clogged my arms of all things, which have never broken out before. I had a lot of arm acne I had to deal with after using this product, so that was not a fun time, and I do suggest staying away from it, or at least spot test these things if you guys do try them out. I have videos on both of these kind of diving into it and explaining it a little bit further, but other than that, there's nothing really notable that I tried that I was just really disappointed with. I was not one of the people to buy any products that had any like malfunctions this year. I just kind of stayed away from products I didn't think would work for me, and I mean, it worked out for me this year. I didn't have too many fails, but I think that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoy these yearly roundups, and if you do, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me a ton. I really look forward to seeing what 2020 holds for this channel. I'm also kind of pondering the idea of starting a separate vlog channel. I don't know if I should keep it separate or keep it over here, because I think mainly my audience over here is in it for the makeup, and I might want to start a separate channel just to keep the personal life in a different little documented area. But of course, I'll let you guys know if that happens this year. But if you guys want to stay up to date with me and you want to hear about the latest releases, you want to see what I do with my channel, then make sure you subscribe and stick around for more videos. I hope you have an amazing start to your new year, and hopefully I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.